guys, today we're gonna talk about a very hot topic of the last 2 or 3 days, really, because at first, as we're gonna see, Luna and CHUU and the whole like BlockBerry and Luna situation. Obviously, CHUU is a very famous idol, one of the most actually iconic idols of this last generation of artists. She's a huge name. She made famous though like the heart with the bite and stuff like that. She had her own phase with um, Luna being very popular in 2018, 2019, but management has never been really that good. You know, they would make them disappear. They would really, there were ideas, there was rumors about mistreatment, about not giving them work when they could do it to enhance the success of the group. A lot of mismanagement, right? So 6 days ago, as you can hear, BlockBerry Creative kicks CHUU from Luna. I thought, okay, it was expected because in the last couple of months, CHUU would do a lot of things on her own. She did her own birthday party for fans with her own money. She opened her own Instagram account. She talked about how she wanted to go on another company, like she was tired and stuff like that. She promoted on herself, like she never presented herself as a Luna member. There was a lot of that, okay? And obviously she's a huge brand. She does a lot of advertisement. She does a lot of brand ambassador stuff, and she's a huge YouTube channel. You know, it has over 1 million subscribers, I think 1.5 if I'm not mistaken. Very successful channel that gets hundreds of millions of views a week, right? So CHUU is doing great for herself. BlockBerry obviously was not fine with it, so I'm like, okay, they kicked her. I was surprised because I thought they were gonna be like, you know, the classic thing where you just part amicably, right? Or they want to go their direction, we're sorry we couldn't keep going, blah blah blah, right? But this is what I read. We're announcing our artist CHUU has been expelled from Luna as of November 25th, 2022. Now, today is the 1st of December, so it's like 6 days later. There were many stories about CHUU, but the company and the members of Luna did not see anything for attempt to prevent problems concerning the development of the team and the fans. And I'm thinking, what type of problems? Maybe she didn't want to be in the group, so it caused a lot of weird feelings. I thought this is what we're gonna say, but no. Because of Luna's affection for the team and consideration of the fans, they tried their best to show good performance and blah blah. Even though they weren't really active, and on top of that, their latest Japanese comeback, they didn't really even promote it at all. I discovered it randomly on YouTube one day. Like, it was all very weird. And they say, we recently investigated CHUU's abuse of power, including abusive language toward our staff. The company is currently apologizing, comforting staff. We decided to take responsibility and remove CHUU from Luna. So at first I'm thinking, it's like, damn, really? Like, I didn't expect that. But because obviously CHUU's brand is being cute, being innocent, being a lovable girl, right? And that was very weird. But almost immediately, and I'm talking like not even a span of a couple of hours, Luna fans, of course, that was obvious, orbits as their name of their fan base says, they will orbit around their favorite idols, like planets, minor planets to a certain extent, even like sometimes they could be Cancer if they really want to, and they defend her. But even staff defends her. That was what really surprised me. And you know, fans obviously they're gonna come on and say, God forbid somebody wants to actually get their money, blah blah blah. Also, the writer behind CHUU Can Do, which I think is her YouTube channel, said power abuse. That's really funny. Even when it was time for CHUU, she was someone who would indicate that stuff wouldn't get paid. Once I got frustrated and said, hey CHUU, worry about yourself first. She said that having gone through this herself and knowing how hard it is, she couldn't bear seeing that. You know, our photographer, right? So that was the first instance that was very interesting. People that work with her came around, because normally when these type of scandals happen, normally they don't really come and defend you, right? I think of Irene with her whole thing with the staff member, right? The makeup woman, where nobody came and defended her at all in this situation, right? Nobody. There was other situations like this in K-pop where normally if something like this happened, they don't come and defend you. They prefer to let it go. Either you leave the group or you just let it pass. You know, you apologize and you move on. But people coming to defend her. And of course she responds like a couple of days later saying, thank you for trusting me, to the fans and stuff like that. Obviously other brand companies came around during this day saying, no, this is not who she is, she's a good person. Now, it's also a good sign, right? A brand who's probably invested thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands into you is probably comfortable enough to come and defend you, right? Knowing exactly who you are. That's a very interesting thing as well, you know. And what happens? BlockBerry does the clown move that no company should really do. And they've already made a mistake before, and I'll talk about it in a second, which is BlockBerry Creative stated that if CHUU wishes to prove her innocence, she should be the one to provide evidence. Now, let me move the camera for 1 second, okay? Let me move it here, okay. Now, that's not how evidence works. If you're gonna be the type of company that comes out and calls out a group, calls out somebody about a behavior, you have to provide the proof. You're the one who's accusing them. Second of all, why even say that? This statement makes no sense. It's clear that the CEOs at this point, they're so up in their ass. They don't care about what anybody says. And the company already is so much in the ground. They don't care about it. They don't care about the people that work in them. There is no element of humanity in there, right? Then ex-Luna member, then she opens her own company. She was already under this company, I'm pretty sure, before, but she made it official after the firing. Young Janie came on and obviously towards anger towards her company and defending CHUU. And there's a rumor that the members are trying to get to suspend their exclusive contract, which they could possibly do, I think, because it damages their image and probably violates certain contracts like clause and stuff like that. I think it's going to be hard, but they could do it. I don't think they can keep their name, because I don't think that really, unless the company and the owner of the brand wants to give it to you, it's just not going to be the case. So they could actually get it going, sure. Now, don't even read the comments. You're going to waste your times half of the time. A lot of times it's like, it's very like simplistic, right? Oh yeah, freedom and stuff like that. It's never a good sign, because normally when these type of things happen, and they've happened quite a bit in K-pop in its own little way, in this small genre, it happened quite often in proportion, obviously, but it never leads to the group actually being successful half of the time. Actually, most of the time they just disband. Most of them go back to normal life, or the guys go back to normal life, and few stay, who have some staying power in the company. And in the case of Luna here, they're trying to get, obviously, their contract ended. People were saying, oh, this is an historic moment, something we've never seen before. Not true. You saw it with Beast, you saw it, in the past we saw it with GFriend, but within closed doors. GFriend didn't leave their biggest brand and a huge brand that made them millions individually because they wanted. So it's because probably Source Music offered them a trash contract, and on top of them they probably were getting treated like trash. So they said, fuck you, probably in a very polite manner, but that's what they did. And nobody questioned it, because Source is under hype now, so people will change the perception of things if you're under hype. And it worked for Source, now they have less Seraphim, so people have already forgotten, because again, doesn't matter what fans tell you, people move on quite fast. So they've done this, obviously people have reacted in a lot of ways, saying this is obviously crazy, because again, it's not about, oh, I'm treating you like shit, because, and we saw it recently with Omega X, right? Everybody has went through the, like we were at evaluation when we were trainees, and the guy got mad, said, we can't do this, you're bad, and stuff like that. That's okay. It's when you actually start working and you're a part of that company, you're trying to help the company succeed, and you get treated like a human piece of shit, and on top of that, you're not getting paid. That's where the problem is, but it's not uncommon in K-pop. It's not that people don't get paid. It's not uncommon that, the only way sometimes idols make money early on in their career, but Luna is a successful group, don't get me wrong, but it's not uncommon that if you're a small group, you make money only through festivals, through like, small performances you make, right? You're not really making great money. And then like a couple of days later, the creative CEO, which is the guy who made pretty much all the Luna music, which I forget his name actually. I think it's this, right? Pretty sure. Tim, but anyway, they were pretty much, they've been suspected of evading $40 million. Now, I find the $40 million thing to be not believable. I do not believe Luna has made 10 million since they've been out. Honestly, I don't see how would they. I don't think their sales have been that extremely impressive anyway. It's not like they've gotten that much. It's not like they've been touring 80,000 people stadium and stuff like that. They might have evaded, we don't know, because there's a rumor, there's also fans spreading negativity towards the company and stuff like that, which is common. But this is the one rumor which I think it's very hard to really know if it's true or not, simply because of how the industry work and how sometimes you can believe something about like about a number and stuff like that, but then again, maybe you think this is true, maybe there was rumors, you don't know, but definitely they've been fucking around with the money. It's a fact, right? Fine. Then there's a person who claims to be a BlockBerry Creative employee, says how the company's trash. Oh, you're sick, you're gonna perform anyway. In a way, classic stuff, but it's something that most modern K-pop fans are not used to, because they live under this impression that K-pop idols today have it great. Not everybody does. I think a lot of them do if they come from the big three, right? And there's a reason why I call them the big three, and I don't even put HYBE in there, because HYBE is a conglomerate. It's a different thing, right? But if you look at the big three, I'm going to talk specifically how I think companies should approach, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not a businessman, but I talk from the way I would approach it if I was in their position. Is that a lot of times they remove and they try to be the biggest thing ever, right? So if the biggest thing ever is girl generation, everybody has to be girl generation. If it's shiny, everybody has to be shiny. If it's FX for a couple of years, it has to be FX. If it's Mamamoo, if it's this, everybody wants to be that thing, right? Obviously, remove the big groups like BTS, but everybody wants to be these groups, right? But what they don't understand is that there's a company, in my opinion, that is very, very good. And people tend to forget this company exists, which is SM. Now, you can say a lot of things about SM. They do a lot of mistakes about their idols. They've done mistakes in the past, notoriously Jessica, I think FX, partially Gigi, even though I think most of them simply didn't want to keep working in the industry for some time or move on to their native countries and stuff like that. But remove those. They're the only company who most of their second generation groups and third generation groups are still active. They're still active. And think about it, right? A lot of people blame SM when Jonghyun committed suicide. Oh, it's SM. They mistreated him. But I think it's telling that the guys have resigned. I think it's very telling. I think it's very telling that they've always openly talked about it on TV show. They never shied away from it. It's something that they don't feel the company has done. It's not them. They obviously have went through a healing process that's bigger. And SM, to me, out of the big three, is the only one that truly feels like a family, because Super Junior is still there. They're in their mid-30s. Their brands are huge individually. They can go and do all individual stuff. You look at SHINee, obviously, their big famous video of Minho getting all the attention instead of Melania Trump, right? Not even gonna talk about Key and the other guys, all the huge artists. I mean, NCT is huge, Red Velvet is huge, FX is the only group that left, but FX has always been a very particular group. Sally left the group at one point because she wanted to make music. Crystal was more interested in acting from one point or another, and Victor just wanted to go back to China and work there. The only ones who went to make music was Lou and Amber, and they've done that for some time under Sam. Until obviously then the company simply had to move on and they didn't want to resign. Amber now is having her own career in America and she's doing fine. Luna is doing musicals, but my point is, remove FX. There's no other group in SM. Well, my point is, if I'm a small company, you need to create a family environment like SM does. I'm not talking from a business standpoint. It's not sustainable for you to do different music and not care about selling the most and stuff. I get that's something different, but I think when it comes to the company, you have to start and say, what are they doing good? Why are you guys very good at this? Hey, you're BlockBerry, we're going through a difficult time monetarily, and like people in their company think we're treating people bad. Let's say I'm the CEO, I'm saying this. I would call someone, I'm like, how would you fix this? What would you do? And you could try to get advanced what do you call them, advice. They haven't done that, because again, what SM done is very specific. Look at YG, you look at JYP, they haven't done it. Every time a group has a chance to leave, they leave, or simply they stop working and they move on to somebody different. SM, for whatever reason, that works for them. They don't feel the need to drop a new group every 2-3 years. They don't feel that they have asked, but not cool. Before they have a female group, it'll take another 6 years. That's the way they are, and they're fine with it. I mean, not probably 6, but 3, right? That's who they are, and they're fine with that. That's who they are. And taking that, I think, is something most companies should do. Now, imagine if most companies did that. The environment of the industry would be better, but there's a lot of small companies that just open and want to use their idols for monetary. They don't care about them as humans. Teen Top famously went through that. I mean, Momo has went through that. They went through that. G-Friend went through that. EXID famously went through that. I mean, BTS, not BTS, Big Bang early on, because people say, oh, BTS started from the gutter. I'm like, no, they haven't started from the same gutter that Big Bang has started. They would have one pack of ramen to divide out of 6 people. That's not the same thing. Like, because now there's gonna be a documentary of BTS, and I've read people saying already, oh my god, look where they started from a small room. They used to sleep 3 in the same room. Like, you haven't seen the Big Bang documentary. If you say that, if you have, you would know. And obviously, there's millions of other examples. EXID is a famous one. There's millions of examples who went through way harsher shit, as always. But, there has to be a reason. And then you understand and you try to do a good job. Man, why stay on one of the biggest bands in Korea history still under SM? She could have left and done her own thing, but probably she feels comfortable. She loves being there. Now that I say this, tomorrow she's gonna say she's leaving SM. But my point is, it still stands. She stayed there for more than 10 years. That's her 13th, 14th year. You don't stay in a company that long, without counting trainees year. You don't stay in a company if you think the company is shit and you're huge and you can go and do your own thing. You don't. So that's something that I think SM has over others, and companies should use this more. Do not be like BBC, be more like SM. Simple as that. SM has done it correct in that sense, for the most part. Not every time, but for the most part. There's something else. Even Hype has to take a note from JYP, YG. I think JYP specifically, but YG less. But YG is not there anymore, so it doesn't matter. Like, the YG guy himself is not there, so it's a little bit more corporate in that sense. It's more about the numbers and stuff like that. That's why Icon Bed doesn't even have a comic this year. But I mean, actually, they had one like earlier during the year, but it wasn't really publicized. Just dropped like that. Anyway. They fumbled the bag. They fumbled the possibility to have one of the most iconic K-pop groups for the positive reasons. They fumbled to have one of the best discographies for the good reasons. Instead, they're gonna be a group that had the potential, bad mismanagement, perceptions from the fan base that have caused a negative perception to the girl group, because it's a fact. They have caused that. And obviously all this negativity now. They'll always be remember for the worst part of it. It's sad, yes. It's the same thing that happened to what's the name of the group? Where the two girls of the group died in a car accident, right? What was the name of the group? It's not Cosmic Girl. It's not Ladies Code, right? Is it one or two? I don't remember, but that tragic incident will always be attached to Ladies Code, right? That's the way it is now, unfortunately, with Luna, in my opinion. What do you think about this situation? Because I think this is fucking ridiculous anyway. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think the company could have done certain things better? Do you think the girls maybe should have left when they had a chance and spoke about it before? Tell me what you think, guys, in the comments. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time, whenever that is.